Welcome to Miss Martin Uses and some more Fire and Blood. Yes, we have Fire and Blood Precious. I'm going to be going through some of the pertinent parts of Fire and Blood by George R. R. Martin that we will be seeing in season 2. So, fair warning, there may be some spoilers. Part of the reason why I say there may be spoilers is because we don't know what they're planning to include or how they are planning for it to unfold. But we can do the best that we can. So, what is it that we're talking about? What's happening up there in Winterfell? Well, previously on House of the Dragon, Luke went off to become a dragon snack. Jaecerys was sent on a mission visiting Cregan Stark up in Winterfell. Who was Cregan Stark? Cregan Stark is the Lord of Winterfell during the Dance of the Dragons. He became Lord of Winterfell when he was 13 years old. And because he hadn't come into his majority, there was a regency. It was his uncle who ruled in his place. Quote, Cregan turned 16 only to find his uncle slow to surrender his power. Finally, in 126 AC, Cregan Stark rose up, imprisoned his uncle and his 3 sons, and took the rule of the North into his own hands. Quote, soon after, he wed Lady Era Nori, a beloved companion since childhood, only to have her die in 128 AC whilst giving birth to a son and heir whom Cregan named Rickon after his father. Very sad story. Unfortunately, tale as old as time, childbirth was incredibly dangerous back then. And boy, do I hope they don't try to insert a modern message about this the same way they did in the first season. But I digress. Let's continue. Quote, Autumn was well advanced when the Prince of Dragonstone came to Winterfell, and Lord Stark was in the midst of his preparations for the coming winter, yet he gave Jaecerys a warm welcome. Many a curious tale came out of that short sojourn. Now, this is where they can pick and choose quite rightly, in my humble opinion, in season 2. We have unreliable sources because these are different historians very long after the fact telling these tales. For more of that, please see my video, The Unreliable Sources from House of the Dragon. But let's continue. Quote, Munkin's true telling says that Cregan and Jaecerys took a liking to each other, for the boy prince reminded the Lord Winterfell of his own younger brother who had died 10 years before. 2 things to point out here. 1, children often died, maybe didn't make it out of infancy or their childhood illnesses. Something else, because apparently 2 men can't just like each other and be friends, there has been a lot of speculation that the took a liking to each other means something far more. Will they do that in the show? I wouldn't put it past them. Time will tell. They drank together, hunted together, trained together, and swore an oath of brotherhood sealed in blood. This seems more credible than Septon Eustace's version, where the prince spends most of the visit attempting to persuade Lord Cregan to give up his false gods and accept the worship of the 7. What you would expect from a Septon. I hope the show does give us some very good dialogue about the differences between the 2. I think that would be a very fascinating conversation. And then there's Mushroom. Quote, his account introduces a young maiden, or wolf girl, as he dubs her, with the name of Sara Snow. So smitten was Prince Jaecerys with this creature, a bastard daughter of the late Lord Rickon Stark, that he lay with her of a night. On learning that his guest had claimed the maidenhead of his bastard sister, Lord Cregan Stark became most wroth, and only softened when Jaecerys told him that the prince had taken her for his wife. They had spoken their vows in Winterfell's own godswood before a heart tree, and only then had she given herself to him, wrapped in furs amidst the snows as the old gods looked on. I would like to see this unfold, just saying. But our narrator, Archmaester Gildane, is a little skeptical. Quote, as with many of Mushroom's fables, it seems to partake more of a fool's fevered imagination than of historical truth. Jacaerys Velaryon had been betrothed to his own cousin Baela since he was 4 and she was 2, and from all we know of his character, it seems most unlikely that he would break such a solemn agreement to protect the uncertain virtue of some half-wild, unwashed northern bastard. Ooh, that's harsh. What I find interesting about this story from Mushroom is it's the least salacious. A prince who makes things right by marrying the woman he deflowered? That's not such a naughty story. He goes further, quote, "If indeed there ever lived a Sara Snow, and if indeed the Prince of Dragonstone perchance to dally with her, that is no more than other princes have done in the past, and will do on the morrow. But to talk of marriage is preposterous." Who cares if he deflowered her? That's fine. That's normal. Yeah, everyone does that. But the gods forbid that he marries her. How dare he? Continuing quote, "This we do know. Cregan Stark and Jacaerys Velaryon reached an accord and signed and sealed the agreement that Grand Maester Munkin calls the Pact of Ice and Fire. This is very strategic for House Black and the Dance of the Dragons. Quote, like many such pacts, it was to be sealed with a marriage. Lord Cregan's son Rickon was a year old. Prince Jaecerys was as yet unmarried and childless, but it was assumed that he would sire children of his own once his mother sat on the Iron Throne. The prince's firstborn daughter would be sent north at the age of 7 to be fostered at Winterfell until such time as she was old enough to marry Lord Cregan's heir. So there it is. There is the Pact of Ice and Fire. There's the story of Winterfell. You think they're going to just go with the straightforward telling? Or are they going to bring in Mushroom story of Sara Snow? And as always, tell me what I got right, tell me what I got wrong, and what I may have left out. Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know, are you looking forward to season 2 of House of the Dragon? Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to always use Jaecerys when you need a son to gather allies.